Let's talk about the 5 ways to feel unstoppable, powerful, and successful in anything you do in 2023. These 5 tips, these 5 strategies I'm going to give you are going to rock your shit. Like, seriously, this is what I wish I had 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Hell, I even wish I had this understanding and this mindset like 7 months ago, honestly. Like, it is really, really juicy, incredible information. All right, so let's get right into it. Well, actually, first of all, what happens if we don't use these 5 tools? What happens if we don't actually feel like we're powerful, that we're unstoppable? Because a lot of us are sitting here right now with that feeling of, I have these dreams, I have these aspirations, but I just don't feel like I'm the one to do it. Or I feel like I'm going to get thrown the ball again and I'm going to drop that damn ball again. I'm going to self sabotage. I'm going to this, I'm going to that. We have all these stories about how we're not going to be well, or how we're going to underperform, or how we're going to be mediocre. But we really don't have the reinforcement in the story of how we're going to do awesome, how we're going to succeed, how we're going to thrive, how we're going to impress the shit out of ourselves. We don't have that story. And I want to give you permission before I get into this. I want to give you permission right now to go ahead and start believing in yourself. You guys, if you don't start, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. You are the only one who needs to believe in you. All right, so let's do that. Let's start there. Let's get that cooking. Let's really focus on how we can love ourselves this year. Let's focus on how we can empower ourselves. Let's get going on feeling unstoppable. Because as I say, it's so true. The world needs where you want to take us. Whatever dreams you have in your mind, whatever aspirations you have in your heart, whatever goals, whatever purpose is living inside of your bones, it deserves and needs to get out into the world, because you've got a pocket of people right here on this planet who are going to love what you have to say. They're going to love your frame of mind. They're going to love your way of being in this world. And you're going to be an inspiration for them. You're going to be the reason they get out of bed. You're going to be the process, the steps, the influence, the role model they need to do life well. And we don't even have to be influencers here. We don't have to be selling something. Maybe this is for the parents right now. Maybe this is for the caregivers of elderly parents. Sometimes you've got to believe in yourself to do a better job at what you're currently doing. And although that might seem challenging, what I'm about to share with you are going to be the strategies and the tools that if you implement and think about every single day, you will start to feel confident again. You will start to have these days of impact that you can measure, that you can recall, that you can really at the end of the day go, man, today was a great day. And you can recall and list the ways that you made an impact on yourself and the world. That's what I want from you. And that's what I want for you. And I know that's what you want for yourself too. So let's get into it. These are the 5 ways you're going to be unstoppable at anything you want to do this year. Okay. The very first point, and this is the serious one, and it's like the gun at the starting line. Like, let's go. You've got to decide. You've got to decide you're going to do it. So whatever it is you want to achieve, whether that's being a better partner, whether that's being a better role model, whether that's being better at painting, whether it's being a better public speaker, better athlete, whatever it is you want to improve in your life, you've got to decide you're going to do it. You got to decide you're going to figure it out. You got to decide you're going to stick around for a little bit. You got to decide that you're the one to do better in it. Maybe you're going to innovate. Maybe you're going to push things forward. Who knows? But unless you decide that you're the one that gets to do it and you're the one that's going to do it, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to get done. Nothing's going to improve. So many times people wait for the world to decide for them. I'm going to give you an example to make this more concrete, because this just happened for me. Past November, I closed my yoga studio, Lotus Life Yoga Center. It was located in Syracuse, New York. It was the second time I ran the business, so it was the second time I closed the doors. This time, second time around was so much different than the first time around. But I wanted to actually close the doors on Lotus Life in July of this past year of 2022. But I had to wait until the end of November. Now, when I went, because the business wasn't doing well, I was fully engaged in turning the attention toward empowerment coaching and women's empowerment coaching, mindset coaching, manifested coaching, everything you see me doing now. I wanted to do full time more. Plus, the business wasn't doing well. So I was like, all right, I can see the writing on the wall. I'm going to close the business. Well, I went to my at the time landlord, and he's like, I can't help you. I can't work with you on this because we're trying to sell the building. And I was like, oh no. He's like, yeah, you're a part of the transaction, right? Like you're a tenant and the money that you're paying is a part of the deal. So you can't go anywhere. You got to stick around. You got to wait until this transaction's done. So I was like, okay. So I did. I stuck it out. And so finally, months later into the fall, the transaction was done, the sale was complete. And I was like, okay, here we go, right? Like I'm going to reapproach the new landlords and tell them, hey guys, I'm so sorry, but the business is failing and I'm changing directions in my passion. And you deserve to have someone in here who can pay you rent, etc. I told them, left the messages, text, got through a couple times, no movement. For weeks, no one got back to me. They were busy figuring out, of course, their new routine. There was 3 of them that now own the building. They're now landlords. They're getting used to their new lives. And here I am trying to get out of, my drowning business here and being like, I got to get going with my life. No one called to help me with that decision. No one called to throw me a life raft. No one was like, yeah, hold on, Kim. I'm eager to help you get out of this lease, right? Like my landlord didn't call and do that. So I'm just like dying here, waiting. And it hit me one morning, Kim, you need to make a decision that you're closing. You're waiting. See, I was waiting for someone to come and tell me this was the date you're going to get out of your lease. And this is how it's going to look. I was waiting for some external people in my life to come in and figure it out for me. I had to decide. And so I did. I decided that on November 18th, I'd be closing the doors on Lotus Life. So, because I decided, I had to tell people about my decision. As scary as it was, I decided. And when a woman decides, she's powerful, you guys. She's so powerful. She's unstoppable. A woman who has decided is unstoppable. Yeah, let that sink in. So I got on the phone, told my landlord, because he didn't answer, I told him with a voicemail. I said, hey, here's the situation. I've been looking to get out. I'm going to be closing my doors on the 18th. Here's my negotiating terms. What do you think? This is happening. Something to that degree, right? I didn't end up closing on the 18th. I ended up closing on the 30th of November. Pretty damn close, right? I'll take it. Had I not decided, who knows? I mean, I might still be in that business waiting and agonizing over who's going to help me. Why don't they know how badly this and that? No, I had to decide. Okay. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't comforting, right? Like I did not make that decision. Then everything, the angels came out to sing and puppy dogs came. Like it was still hard work, but I was resolute and I knew why I had to do what I had to do. Okay. So let this story empower you to understand that if you're waiting on a decision, if you're waiting for someone else to come and decide for you, if you're waiting to know, should I do this, shouldn't I? You're waiting for the cards to kind of fall into place or whatever, however you want to look at that, whatever phrase you want to use. Have you decided? Have you decided what you're going to do about it? Because actually, you're the only voice we need in this. So, all right, guys, whatever it is you want to do this year, whatever it is you want to be awesome at, you got to decide you're going to do it. All right. And step 2, here we go. You guys liking this? I hope so. I'm so amped for this. These 5 points are just like my jam right now and really, really important to overall success in anything you do. Point number 2 here to make anything unstoppable that you want to do this year is to see it as a career. Too many times we are almost embarrassed of what we're passionate about. And so we treat it as a side hustle. We treat it as this little hobby that we'll get to when we get to it. And what happens? Do you ever get to it? No, right? It's not until you take things seriously and you hang your hat and just say to the world and to yourself, you know what? I'm going to stick around here for a little bit. I'm going to hang out. I've been moving from this to that to this to that. And at if the first sign it doesn't look like it's going well, I get out. I don't really stay long enough to actually see what would happen. And I'm no stranger to I wish I stuck it out a little longer just to see what would happen. I mean, there's ballet in my past, horseback riding lessons. There's college the first time around. There's this that like I have a lot of places in my past. I love my past. I love my path. I love my life. Don't get me wrong. I would change none of it. But there are plenty of examples in my past where I wonder if I stuck with it. What would have happened? Where would I be? And so I don't want you to have that feeling in your life. I want you to decide that whatever it is you want to improve upon, that you're going to be there for the long run. Now, for me, that decision to become, I decided I'm going to become a women's empowerment coach. And I decided to make it my career. Now, it didn't happen overnight. I had to wait, make a couple moves, etc. And now it is finally my full-time career. But that doesn't matter. Things don't have to be perfectly in place before you decide and before you say this is going to be my career. As soon as you decide that something's your career, as soon as you decide you're going to stick around for a long time, everything changes. Your outlook changes. The way you dress changes. The way you plan your day changes. The way you talk about what you're doing changes. Everything elevates because suddenly it became really freaking important. If it's your career, you're going to show up more and you're going to show up with full gusto and power and passion. If it's your career, you're going to give it all you got. If it's your side hustle, that can hide from people, including yourself. So it doesn't really get the attention that it deserves and the attention it needs to become something big. If you really want to stick around and make a difference in your life in this one area, these two areas, you've got to hang your hat. You got to pull up a chair. You got to just be willing to live in that world for a little bit. That's how you're going to exceed. That's how you're going to figure out, am I really good at this or not? So many times we stop too soon. We stop prematurely when we all suck. Like everyone sucks at a certain point at anything they start. No one's good. I always think of Michael Jordan. I remember seeing Michael Jordan to the max in like the 3D. It was incredible. But like he was really bad at offense. And he was really bad at shooting. He sucked and his coach told him so, but he decided that he was going to use that information differently. Most people would say, okay, well, basketball isn't for me. Michael Jordan said, the hell with that. I'm going to get better at what you said I'm awful at. And you guys all know, right, how that story goes. Michael Jordan. I mean, for crying out loud, he used to be awful at basketball. Think about what you are awful at now and what it will take to get to Michael Jordan level in whatever it is you want to be good at. Take that attitude, take that mentality, that hunger, and that, that's exactly what he did. He hung his hat, so to speak. Michael Jordan was like, I'm not going to stop until I'm the best at what I'm the worst at right now. He put in time. If it was just a side hustle, if it was just a once in a while thing he did on the side, we wouldn't know number 23 like we do now, right? You can do the same thing with whatever you want to get better at in your life, okay? So there we go. Decide to do it. Number 2, make it your long-term career. Decide to stick around for 5 years or more, whatever you're doing, hang your hat. Number 3, to get better at and to excel at anything you want to do in life. Number 3 is never stop. Don't ever stop. And right underneath there, another tagline is be consistent. Okay, that's really what I mean. When I say never stop, I don't mean run yourself ragged. I don't mean hustle until you die. I mean take care of yourself. What I'm saying is find a rhythm, find a cadence that works for your life and stick to it. We sometimes overburden ourselves, we overcommit because we have the best intentions, right? And we're really excited. But then because we actually don't stop and think about, well, what did I just commit to? Can I actually do this? Can I actually post 10 times a day on social media? Can I actually get to the gym twice a day? Can I get there once a day? No, I can't. And so then we instead of evaluating that from a very objective standpoint, we get all emotional and we get down on ourselves and then we just stop. And then there's nothing great about stopping when it's something that's meant for you and it's something that you really want. When you never stop, when you keep going, a couple amazing things happen. First and foremost, you keep showing up, doing the thing you're doing. People watching you, people in your life, your family, your friends, your social media followers, your students, however you want to think about them, they're watching. And they're slowly forming an association in their minds between you and that thing you're consistently doing. And this is what in the world of, say, marketing is called brand recognition. If I think of running sneakers, for me, there's Nike immediately. And then maybe, Hoka after that or something. When I think about coffee, competing interest, Dunkin' Donuts is Starbucks, but Starbucks is probably the first brand, right? Like that's because Starbucks has done an incredibly great job. Nike has done an incredibly great job at brand representation, at clear marketing strategies, repetitively, right? Never leaving the industry to associate them with a sport or them with a beverage, etc. And now in my mind, they've taken up real estate. You say coffee, I say Starbucks. You say running shoes, I say Nike, etc. We can keep going. So if you want to be known for something, you got to keep doing it. It builds brand recognition. You're the person to go to for a locksmith. You're the person to go to for hair braiding tutorials. You're the person to go to for how to run better and not hurt your knees. You're the person to go to for doula training. You're the person to go. You see what I'm saying? So keeping the fire going, being consistent, showing up will build that trust. That's really what we're saying here. People start to trust you. Hey, she shows up all the time on social media at the same time, in the same place, in the same way. She's consistently delivering value. I trust her. Once you have people's trust, all the doors unlock here. Okay. Sky's the limit. Let's talk about the other thing that's happening for you. What's in it for you by being consistent? Well, we all want more confidence, correct? Here's the cool thing about confidence. It's not something you can just go out and get sometimes. It's actually something that's built through repetition. That's because there's a correlation between your skills and your confidence. Competency, or your ability to do a thing, that's your competency. When your competencies and your skills go up, so does your confidence. So, this is where whatever you are awful at, if you just keep going at it, you'll get better at it. And then naturally, as you get better at something, your confidence in that thing goes up too. Let's go back to Michael Jordan, for example. Michael Jordan was bad at shooting threes, he was bad at offense. But he got better by practicing drills, practicing his skills, getting some coaching, getting feedback, and playing the game. His skills, his competency was going up. Right along with it, so with his confidence. And now we've got a nice feedback loop, right? Because as you're more confident, well, you're going to show up more. You're going to play bigger. You're going to take up more space. Oops, and there goes that. As I take up more space and knock things off my desk, you're going to take up more space and you're going to take over in the certain arenas of your life. You feeling me on that? So competency goes up as you do things, as you repeat things, as you stay consistent in your life. That's why you should never stop. And I understand we all hate being beginners. I really, really do get that. There's a pain in that. But honestly, you just need to get over yourself. You need to get over it. You need to get over that feeling. And you need to really root deep into your brain that everyone that's an expert started as a beginner. An expert is just a beginner who never stopped, right? Like we know these things, and it's just not common practice. Okay. So, number one, let's review this. Decide. Just decide to do it. Two, hang your hat, make it a career, stick around for at least 5 years. Okay. 5 years, you should start to see whether or not you love it or not, whether or not you're really like supposed to be doing it, whether or not the market is good for it, etc. 5 years is a really good test time. And then three is don't ever stop. Okay, let's keep going. Point four on how to make yourself unstoppable and feel successful in anything you do is study your craft. Study your craft for a number of reasons. One, talk to experts, talk to people who are already doing it and doing it longer, doing it better than you. Learn from them, right? Get steeped in the knowledge of your field. The best teachers are always the best students, hands down, time again. I can tell a really good teacher because he or she, they are consistently learning. Okay. So study your craft, meaning study from other people who are in your field, but also, I mean it literally, study your work. Like an artist, can you step back from your work and view it? How's it looking from a distance? You know, what do your customers see? What do your students see? And I don't even mean here a product. I actually want, like, if maybe you're like me, you're in the service based industry, you make something, you sell something, but I also wanted to speak to people who are parents and people who are in relationships. Like, and everyone's in a relationship of some sort, right? But if you step back from your behavior and how you're showing up for yourself and others, what's it look like? What's your, your behavior? What's your persona like? Is it a good influence on others or not so much? Are you a good role model or could you work on that? Are you taking care of yourself and other people? Are you telling people that you love them, that you do love? Are you demonstrating that love? Are you demonstrating that care? Sometimes it's good to step back and study, observe your craft, observe your life, and anything you want to get better at, you guys, painting, advertising, maybe working with animals, maybe it's gardening. You've got to take the bird's eye view sometimes. Step back, check it out. How's it all going? Another layer to this is if you are in the service industry like I am, one of my friends and students just mentioned this the other night in the Rise membership, which was brilliant. She said, I like to listen to the music that I produce and in the sets that I DJ because I actually get a sense of what my students are feeling. And then I'm learning, am I actually connecting the dots for them? Are they getting the experience that I think they're getting? And then she's able to learn, how can I improve this? How can I do better? And also the next layer is she's getting the same experience her students do, and it becomes her own medicine in a way. So never be afraid. Listen, read your poetry, right? Like ingest your own gospel. Enjoy and listen to your own music. Listen, before I go on and coach, before I launch another course, if I've done that course before, you best believe I'm going back to my old YouTube videos. You best believe I'm listening to my live talks and Instagram. I want to refresh myself, but I want to get in the spirit of it. Do you know what I mean? I want to get steeped back in the presence that I brought before. And that's like a springboard. Bam, I'm off to the next level. Like, how can I iterate? How can I make it better? So it's not you being selfish at all. It's you studying it to improve, studying to feel what other people are feeling when they're near your presence. And it's really this branch of yoga called self observation or svadhyaya, which is self study. When we do self study, we're learning about ourselves. We're seeing where our shortcomings are, where we're doing awesome. We're asking ourselves, why did I do that? What am I up to, as Janet Stone always says? What am I up to? Is this the best representation of me? Can I do better? Am I pushing too hard and trying to replicate someone else? Can I be more authentic? Did this land like I thought it did? Did I get clear on all the points that I wanted to say? Or did I get lost? Did my audience follow me? Does this feel the way or simply going back, not to critique it, but rather just to feel your own essence and bathe in it? Okay. This is really, really important. And of course, the other point I made in there in the beginning was get with other experts in your field and learn. Be the student, be the beginner always. Okay. And finally, let's get to the last point. This one's really important, and I don't see women doing this enough. Own your expertise. You guys, you have all been through tremendous journeys, some of which I can't even imagine enduring. But you're here. You survived. You're thriving. Or maybe you just survived it, right? But you're learning. You have so much insight, so much skill that other people would love to hear about. Sometimes we wait until we get letters after our name, we get that diploma, that degree, we get that life experience, that job, that title, someone else coming in and say, you are now validated to talk and teach about this. You don't need any of that. No one came to tell me, Kim, you've now completed the course in women's empowerment coaching and you can go ahead and be an empowerment coach now. No one came to tell me that. I just decided. I stuck around and made it my career. I've just never stopped, right? I've made sure to study my craft and I've owned my knowledge. I've owned my expertise. I have a lot of skill. I've been through a lot. And that's the validation. That's all I ever need is I've been through it and I can talk about it. That's what qualifies me. And that's what qualifies you too. So if you're hung up on, I'm not sure I'm ready, or I'm not sure that I'm worthy, or I'm not sure that I'm the one, or I'm not sure that I can do this, I'm not sure that I know enough, I've been around enough, or taught enough, listen to yourself and all of these ways you're slowing yourself down. I'm telling you right now, if you've had passion to help other people, if you can speak, and don't worry about being a good speaker, but if you have the ability to use your voice, use it. If you care about other people, if you want to impress upon them a great message, maybe get them thinking differently or give them hope, and that is all you need to be qualified to teach, to share, to love, and to keep going. Okay? So there you go, you guys. Your 5 amazing ways and really powerful, potent ways to be unstoppable and kick ass at anything you want to do in this year. I can't wait to see you shine and thrive. However you're consuming this information today, would you do me a favor and below the video or in this email, however you can, send a note back to me or leave a comment under this video. How did this impact you? What was your biggest takeaway? What are you going to do immediately after this? I'd love to know. Reading things from you guys just makes my heart so happy. And it reminds me that I'm connecting with real people out there and I'm making impact. And that is great positive feedback for me. So I would love to hear it. Great job in all of this. Go out there and kick some ass, guys. Love you, and I'll be with you soon.